Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. If it's your first time here, my name is Anne, and if you have been here already, welcome back. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how I created this eye look, and it's like an all matte eye look with like a bold winged liner look. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna teach you today. Now, before I go in with any eyeshadow, I will first prime my eyelids, but this is the palette that I will play with. I'm going to use the MAC Cosmetics Paint Pot in the color Soft Ochre, and I'm using this all over the eyelid, and this will just remove all the redness from the lid. It will just leave me with a nice clean canvas for all the eyeshadows that I'm going to apply. So I'm just applying this all over the eyelid once everything is nicely covered. Then once I am done with that, I'm going to set it with a little bit of powder just to make sure that everything is nicely locked in place. You can use a normal powder or a translucent powder, just make sure that it's a tiny layer of powder. Then I'm going to go in with the matte palette from Kylie Cosmetics, and I'm going to start with this light color. I'm just going to use this all the way underneath the brow. This will just kind of give it a nice lifted effect, and it will also help with the transition from the eyeshadows in my crease, that everything will just look so much better. So just using a light hand and just softly dabbing this under this brow area. Then I went in with the color Natural and Rust, just mixing both of these colors on my brush, and I'm gonna start blending this all the way in my crease area. I also applied these eyeshadow guards that you can see that I have underneath my eyes. If you don't have these at home, you can also use some regular sticky tape. The only thing that this is gonna do is just gonna leave me with a really sharp edge once I remove them. So it's optional, you don't have to do this. You can also clean up the edges with concealer, but for me it just makes the whole process a bit easier. So I'm just continuing to blend and blend, and you can go in with more eyeshadow if you feel like you want to make it more darker. But I always like to start with a little bit, and then I just gradually build it up by going in with more and more of the eyeshadow. Then I'm going to go in with the color Umber, if I'm reading that correctly. Using a tinier brush and just kind of applying this directly into the crease area. I really wanted like some darkness going on in my crease. Normally I would go in with like a fluffy blending brush and make it look more softer, but for today's eye look I actually wanted it to be a little bit darker and harsher, but in a good way, if that makes sense. After this I will go in with something on my eyelid which will make the edges look different, more like a cut crease, but not like a cut crease where you have like this really sharp line, but more in a softer way. So now I'm going in with a super tiny brush. I believe this one is actually from NYX Cosmetics. It's just one of those pencil brushes. And I went in with this darker color and also blending this directly into the crease area, just to give it a little bit more definition, make it a bit more darker. I don't even know how to explain what I'm doing, but I'm sure by seeing me doing it, it kind of makes sense. So then I went in with some concealer on a Sigma Beauty E25 brush and just kind of dabbing this all over the eyelids. So what this is going to do, it's going to kind of clean up the sorry, my voice. It's kind of going to clean up the eyeshadow which came onto my eyelid, which I didn't want it to be there. And also it will create this kind of like barrier in between the crease and the eyelids. It's kind of like a cut crease, but just in a softer way because I'm using a softer brush. And then I went back in with that same dark brown color which I used before the concealer and going over it again in my crease just to make it look a little bit darker. But this is totally optional. It depends on which brushes you use, how it looks on your eyes, if you feel like you need a little bit extra. So now I'm going to go in with the color Base, which is that light color which I used all the way at the beginning for underneath the brow. Now I'm going to use this to set the whole eyelid and just make it nice and light. So just applying this all over the eyelid, also slightly on top of the crease area, kind of where the concealer blends into the eyeshadow in my crease. So you get this really nice transition because the eyeshadow just makes the edges look a little bit more softer. Then with whatever was left on my brush, I also blended a little bit underneath the brows again. And I'm just kind of going back and forth. So now I removed the eyeshadow guard and you can see it left me with a super sharp edge, which is nice because I am going in with some gel eyeliner. As you can see right now, I use the Sigma Beauty Wicked Gel Eyeliner, which is a really nice black gel eyeliner. And now I can just follow that line that the eyeshadow guard left me with, which is really easy because I don't really have to think about it too much. I can just follow that line that I have. So I always start with a line above the lash line, and then I drag a line from the outer portion towards kind of following actually the line of my eyebrow, as you can see. So the point where my eyebrow stops, that's kind of the direction that I'm going towards. And like I said, I already have the line kind of in front of me, so I can just follow that. I'm just stopping kind of like at 30%. I don't know. Sometimes my line goes longer, sometimes shorter. It just kind of depends. Then now I'm going to create the wing liner. I always take my time with this because this is the part where it can go wrong, basically. I always like to open my eyes and then just kind of see if it still looks good when I have my eyes open. I do think I have a video where I go a little bit more in depth on how I make my wing liner look really nice, but I will link that down in the description bar if I can find it. So if you want to have a little bit more tips and tricks on this, I will make sure to link that video in the description bar. But just take your time with this, because I feel like definitely with this eye look, the eyeliner is definitely kind of like an eye catcher. It's important in this eye look, so I really wanted it to look as perfect as possible. So now for underneath the wing liner, I went in with some concealer because it wasn't looking really good. So I really wanted that area to have a little bit of concealer on it, because you could just see the redness of my skin. Then using my finger to press the concealer into the skin, and you can also use the concealer to make your wing liner even sharper if you need to. Then I used this soft brown pencil from Makeup by Mario, and using this all the way in my waterline. It's a really nice warm brownish color, which looks really good in combination with the eyeshadows that I used. So I'm going to go in with the color Umber and using this right underneath the lower lash line. I feel like this color is actually quite similar to the pencil in the waterline, so I think the combination looks really good. So I'm just trying to apply as much as possible and then blend it out with the combination of the color Rust and Umber together. So I'm just gonna like smudge my brush back and forth, just make sure that there are no harsh lines and that everything looks nicely blended out. I went for quite a blown out lower lash line, but just because I really like it. And then I used a little bit of the darkest color and used this for at the outer corner of the eye and kind of connecting it with the wing liner, because I felt like whenever I do a wing liner, I feel like there's always this gap in between the lower lash line eyeshadow, so I wanted to have some darkness going on over there. Then I curled my lashes using a MAC Cosmetics lash curler, and then I went in with the Benefit Cosmetics Fan Vest mascara, which is a really nice mascara, especially if you're searching for a nice long-lasting waterproof mascara. I think you guys will really like this one. So using this for the upper lashes and the lower lashes, and then I went in with the Siren Flare lashes from House of Lashes. Super pretty, they're not too dramatic, they're not too not dramatic. They're the right amount of glam for this eye look. So then I used the lash curler to kind of lift them up, and then here you have the finished results. I really hope you all like how it turned out. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. That's really helpful for my YouTube channel, and I just want to say thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye. Even if you try